Motivations with Glenn.
Good day, everyone. This is Awesome Radio, 106.9 FM, WBIS LP. This is the Glenn Johnson Show, Motivations with Glenn and Jacqueline Collins Williams. However, Jacqueline Collins Williams is out today due to a family emergency. So joining me in the station today is none other than the coach, Vernon Garrison.
What's going on? What's going on, everybody? What's up?
Our topic of discussion today. Now, Thanksgiving has ended, but we have a couple of major holidays still among us. One being Christmas, December 25th. Then we'll go into New Year's Eve, into New Year's. And let's not forget Dr. Martin Luther King's birthday, which is on January 16th. So our topic of discussion is finding time for fitness over the holidays. So with these holidays still coming up among us, how do we find time for the holidays or find time for fitness during the holidays and so on and so forth? So I have two documents on that. We're not going to talk about a lot of it because I know you know how to eat healthy. I know you know how to take care of yourself and maintain a healthy and productive life. So you have your own ideas about things. So we're not advising you on things that you should do, but these are going to be some considerations. I'm going to ask Coach Garrison on the finding time for fitness over the holidays, if he would go through the three that they recommend.
Yeah, trying to balance the holidays, if you think about it, the reason we're saying holidays is we celebrate most of our holidays with food. And so it's so important to consider your personal challenges with food and during Christmas time, especially during Thanksgiving. So there's a balance there that we're looking for. Some of us love to entertain our family, and during stressful times, we overeat. And we have to think about our health and our physical activity and finding that time to do fitness. So with that in mind, tip number one would be schedule activity into your daily routine.
Coach Garrison, would you hold on a second? We have a caller.
Our records indicate that you have.
Okay, sorry about that.
Yeah, so you want to schedule activity into your daily routine. Note, schedule. Not a lot of us schedule things when it comes to the particular holiday that you're working on, other than scheduling people to be coming over, excuse me, or going to a particular location yourself. If you're visiting family, you're not necessarily thinking about, well, I'm going to go walking when I get there. Except you have very important reasons that you probably should. But scheduling your activity in advance, if you're going to a motel or, a living facility, chances are they may have a gym or workout facility, some type of exercise bike or something. So you want to keep it important, incorporate this physical activity you enjoy during the most convenient time to accomplish some fitness goals during that season.
Yeah.
There are a lot of places that are closed. There are some gyms that are closed. Look at that schedule and make sure that you're thinking about getting 150 minutes of moderate intensive aerobic activity and 2 days of muscle strengthening activity each week. It's time out for just putting exercise as an option. It is not optional. And if you're short on time, start with just 5 minutes. Set a reachable goal and work up towards that recommended amount. My time has been challenged. I was in the gym 3:00 this morning. I just have to do it. I worked out from 3 a.m. to 5 a.m. this morning, and then the shower took up the rest of the time. So, next tip, I'm gonna go ahead and finish this form then for Dr. Johnson. Next tip: incorporate easy activities to get moving during this holiday, during this Christmas. You just ate a bunch, a caloric intake during Thanksgiving. All right, you said you ate it. Now let's get rid of it. Get to moving and do easy stuff though. Now they're saying things like park out in the edge of the parking lot and take a couple of laps before you leave the store. I don't know if you're gonna go in there and buy toys and then come out and you're gonna walk around Walmart or malt.
I got a comment for that one. Wait till you get
you're
to
gonna
the
walk
third one.
around the shopping store that you just went to. Go ahead. What were you about to say?
I was gonna wait till you get done the third one, but since you're on that, stop parking at the far end of the parking lot, take a couple of laps around. I don't do that, but what I started doing was, if I noticed I have to go back to my vehicle, I'm on leaving a particular establishment, I'll prefer to walk the farthest route that I can to get back to the car to help lose some of this excess weight or just for physical fitness in general.
You will be amazed of your vitals and how they will change if you get intent on doing the activity.
Yeah.
If you're not, then walking around the mall or plaza, you're going to be tired. Your feet going to start hurting. I've been walking off from store to store to store. But if you change your mindset to getting extracurricular activities while you shop, then it'll be a little bit different perception. And so your blood pressure will likely go down a little bit. Sugar will definitely be affected.
Yeah.
Things happen when you start walking. So the last tip is, you want to start creating healthy traditions for your family during certain holidays of the year. I'm not saying, don't take a person out to eat, but then think about what you eat. Okay. Adding seasonal holidays and things of that nature, you can create healthy holiday traditions, going to a park, taking the whole family out there, meeting, ice skating, snow skiing, taking a winter nature hike, organize a walk, a basketball or football game with family members. And lastly, I'm done with the list, but that's what we used to do: play football, go outside. And the 80s group, Generation X, is known to be the last group of people that actually played outside in the grass, played football, tag, and it was actually an activity that had priority to it, not just something. I'm not saying the kids nowadays don't play outside, but we were the last official group that we didn't compete with an Xbox, go outside and come right back in.
Yeah. And Coach Garrison just finished with the last tip. So I want to incorporate this in that. But first, if anybody that's listening have a question or comment or would like to offer some information to our listening audience, please do so by calling 252-756-2008. We would love to hear your comment. Also, when Coach Garrison mentioned walking is an activity, I thought about safety because we're talking about the holiday season. And of course, it gets darker earlier now than when winter months, including the holiday season. So it might get dark around 5:30, 6 o'clock. So if you decide to have your meal and you and your family want to go out and take a walk, maybe to a park or somewhere local or close by, please, by all means, have on light, color, or reflective gear so that you will be able to see seen by oncoming traffic. Because I know there's a lot of places here in Greenville, Winterville, Ayden, and Grifton, Bethel area that doesn't have sidewalks, and sometimes you're walking along with the traffic as close to the street as possible. So keep those things in mind. Always safety first. Coach Garrison with 50 seconds.
It makes me livid when I see somebody walking and they assume that I can see them.
Yeah.
Even they have lights in the crosswalks, and it's still sort of casting shadows and things of that nature.
Yeah, because I think sometimes they think because they can see the car that the person in the car can see them, but it's definitely the opposite. You can see the vehicle coming because of the headlights, but the person that's driving the vehicle might not be able to see you because of the darkness of the area. So we have 10 seconds to go before we go to the break. I want to remind everybody that you are listening to Awesome Radio, 106.9 FM, WBISLP, Winterville, Aden, Grifton, Southside, Greenville, North Carolina. Back in a moment, ladies and gentlemen. Keep it locked right here.
My name is Jayla, and you're to see to my papa, Glenn Johnson, on the radio.
You're listening to Awesome Radio, 106.9 FM.
Okay, that was a very short break. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. I'm going to kick it back over to Coach Vernon Garrison.
Well, we were talking about walking. You were talking about getting dark earlier. That brings to mind that you want to practice all of your safety issues when you're walking, when you're out there. You want to have your awareness tip top, in tip top shape, looking for things out of the ordinary. That's the first thing I will say. If there are particular things set up around your car, there's some type of thing going on where they will put something on your door handle and it's laced with some drugs.
Yeah.
And, somehow it enters your system through the skin, things of that nature. So some people are doing certain things that's making Christmas seem like kind of Halloweenish. You're going to be careful. We basically all now are aware of crime and how it rises during the holidays. So do what comes natural. If you don't feel comfortable, but please do not leave your door open in your car. And that will be exercise if you have to walk all the way back out there to your car just to lock your door or get close enough for the key fob to work. So you don't want to do all of that. So lock it. And if you walk away and you're not sure if you locked it, hit it again. Most people's cars will alert you through the horn, to go and just wait till somebody's walking by your car and hit it and make it go beep, beep.
Yeah.
Right. I can't stand that either, man.
Yeah.
When somebody beeps their car when I'm right next to it. I mean, hey,
well,
you got to do what you got to do.
That's just how people think. People think and respond in various ways.
Yeah. I'm
not going to make a joke about this or be funny about this because this is a serious topic. It's, for instance, I asked a young lady how her son was. She had a son with him when I saw her. I said, how old is your son? She said 7 going on 8. I said, you didn't have to say 8. I know 8 come after 7. It's not like I thought he was 7 going on 6. Of course he's going on 8. Anyway, if anybody will have a comment or question they'd like to share with our audience, please do so by calling 252-756-2008 because myself and Coach Garrison would like to move into food versus fitness, staying healthy during the holidays. And one thing I thought about is when you said about eating, from Coach Garrison, being diabetic, there are a lot of things that diabetics have to adhere to and place close attention to. And one of the things I thought of, since I am diabetic, is that I know I'm going to have a large meal, but I think they're suggesting that you do not deny yourself any food prior to the meal because you're thinking that you're going to go somewhere and eat a lot of food. And what happens is that thought isn't registered in your mind. So when you get to the event or to your relative to enjoy that meal, you're going to overindulge. You're going to overdo it because you hadn't eaten prior to arriving there. Now you think you can just put everything, shovel everything down your mouth.
Right? You got to make sure that the suitcase is empty enough to put everything in your tummy nice and neat. You know, you got to make, and then you're dealing with some people don't want you in the kitchen
Yeah.
while they're cooking their Thanksgiving meal. So wait till they're not cooking breakfast. Wait, you're gonna eat a big meal. Get out of the kitchen.
Yeah.
So there was quite a bit of or a few memes like that, or videos where people put themselves in that position, and it's almost like they were fasting. You're fasting because you know you're about to eat a big meal,
And now that they're about to eat, they overdo it.
and you go into a sugar coma. Now,
That's right.
I'm not saying that as a clinical term. In other words, you getting the itis, you're getting yourself knocked out.
That's right.
All of the salt and all of the food and let's look at it in a way that they want you to look at it in this show. You're consuming all of the grease, the high caloric intake of sugars, starches, and yeah, it can seriously put you in a state of shock, your stomach and everything. Well, I can speak for myself. Did I overeat? Not as much as I did in previous years on Thanksgiving. So I cut back. Did I exercise on Thanksgiving Day? Yes, I did. So I'm practicing what we're preaching here. I know the food is good, everything is good, but I had to get my sugar in check.
Yeah. Coach Garrison, if you would do me a favor, that food versus fitness, staying healthy for during the holidays document, would you read the first part of that before we go to the break? Then we'll come back. We'll get into more details about that. Then we'll take our final 20 minutes and go into holiday safety, fire safety, and cooking safety.
There are so many things to look forward to during the holiday, and food is definitely one of them. From Thanksgiving dinner to holiday sweets, how can we enjoy everything on the table but still maintain a healthier mindset? You need to treat yourself, but you also have to remind yourself physical and mental health are also super important, said the Planet Fitness personal trainer Noel Long.
I think that is so very right.
Yeah.
Particularly that physical and mental health aspect of it.
Mm-hmm. He said it's okay to eat Thanksgiving dinner and dessert, but to exercise is important, especially during the winter months. You also have to remember exercise gives you serotonin, just like sunlight does. In the winter, it's going to get darker quicker. We're not going to have sunlight. So we have to keep our physical and mental health intact. Going to the gym, any gym is a great place to do that. But if you can't get to the gym in between holidays, prep and visits friends and family. There are some holiday activities you're already doing that can count towards your overall wellness.
Exactly. We have 3 minutes before we go to the break. If you want to go back and indulge anything else, Coach Garrison.
Now, I would say you want to, if I could advise anybody, focus on sugar, less grease, and things of that nature. Don't eat but 6 this time.
Yeah.
You
Maybe
eat
even
6
2
pieces of pie, cut that back to 3.
Yeah, you want to focus on your vegetables. Take advantage of healthy stuff. And your vegetables, you want greens, you want green, you want red, sometimes yellow, things of that nature. What your vegetables consist of that's being yellow. How about a bell pepper?
Squash.
How about red? Another pepper. Even green, another pepper. But green, there's a lot of vegetables that's green in color. And there's a lot of health organizational health or fit doctors rather that would suggest you eat a lot of green vegetables.
Well, in American African community, we do take green vegetables during these particular holidays like this, and we load it with fat back meat, butter, and salt. So you know what we're talking about when we're talking about green. Even with broccoli casserole, man, broccoli casserole be banging because it's got all that cheese and butter. So when we talk about green, I'm thinking you can't really circumvent, if I'm using the word right, Thanksgiving dinner. but just don't eat as much and
Right.
get back on track and exercise.
And before we go out to the break, we have a minute to go before we go to the break. I just want to stress all the cooks that's cooking and preparing these delicious meals for the holiday. Just do me a favor and keep in mind all those people that have food allergies, particularly to nuts, because I know a lot of people like to put nuts in some of their food, particularly vegetables, like string bean alidine. Well, you might have a relative that might be allergic to almonds or any kind of nut that cannot eat that, and they don't know that you put it in there because now it has been camouflaged with the vegetable. That happened to me one time, and I'm extremely allergic to nuts, but I knew what to look for, and I spotted the nuts and closed that case out right away. So just keep in mind, along with your cooking and your vegetables, just keep in mind allergies, people that are relatives that might have an allergic reaction to food. Some people have an allergic reaction to eggs. So eggs is another thing to be a little concerned about. Your eggs and your nuts. Coach Garrison, you want to take us out to the break?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back, and I'll give you my opinion on those who are allergic to food and what they do during the holidays. This is WBISLP 106.9. We'll be right back.
Awesome radio.
We're back. You're listening to The Glenn Johnson Show. You can reach Glenn at glennjohnsonshow@gmail.com.
Okay, that was another very brief one. Anyway, Coach Garrison would like to give some thoughts on food allergy, I believe.
I believe that people who have food allergies during these particular food-laden holidays become experts on what they can and can't eat. I cannot recall. Now, I could go to a restaurant where someone has a particular food allergy or they don't eat meat or a preference, and I will hear them talk to the waitress or waiter. Well, can I get this made this particular way, or I don't eat this. I don't even recall ever hearing anybody show up at a Thanksgiving meal. Y'all know I don't eat peanuts. Y'all know I don't eat y'all know I don't eat meat. That's the time I think they cheat.
I do it all the time.
But I don't hear I have not heard anybody say anything about it. Now I know it's done because if you're allergic, you're allergic. But it's like they don't worry us about it because they're sitting there too busy figuring out what they can eat. But I would have to do some statistics or like to see some research to see who go into a Thanksgiving meal with family and actually come out with it. That's the time if you're gonna eat something unintentionally, it would be that potato salad that Aunt Susie made, and she put some peanuts in it. And you didn't know it. I just don't recall anybody complaining.
But since you said that, I will tell you this. I used to do that, but over the years now, I don't do that because my family knows that me and other family members, what we can't eat and what we can't eat. So they take very, very strict precautions when they're preparing meals and know that we're going to arrive.
And I've been to events like that. I've been, I just don't know if it's vocalized. They probably see it. Yeah, I don't eat that right there.
I do it all the time.
Right. But they probably, that's you. But I'm talking about me. I mean, I'm 54 years old. I'm saying I've never been to a Thanksgiving dinner and anybody's talking about what they can and can't eat, even with meat.
But you did say an interesting thing. They're concerned about what they can eat. And that's true.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking happens.
True.
They get overwhelmed and they're looking through the dishes.
Yeah, because I'm down looking for what I can't eat because I know there's some things I can't eat. But if you remember a couple of years ago, I went to a local eatery here in Greenville. And after I ate my meal, which was fish, I went to the register. I just wanted to ask just a question to see how the attendant would respond. I said, ma'am, if I told you I was allergic to fish, would you serve me again the next time I come in here? She said, now that you told me, absolutely not. And she said, you see the door right there? I said, yeah, look above the door. Sure enough, above the door was an allergy alert sign that they had products that might contain things that you might be allergic to. I said, but who can see that? It's way above the door. And she said, Mr. Johnson, I'm so glad you pointed out because she had no idea how high it was up above the door.
Yeah, I think that, it's cool. I just don't hear anybody saying it. Some people who have special diet get on your nerves. Because every time they say that they don't eat a certain thing, now I ain't trying to get in trouble for this, but you can email me if you don't like what I'm saying. But I still love y'all.
Yeah, email them.
You got to take over the whole table while everybody else is ordering and tell everybody you don't eat meat. Come on, man. If
Yeah.
you know where we're going, pull up the menu on the thing and don't grandstand at the table.
Yeah, because somebody that says they don't eat meat, that's a personal choice of theirs. But somebody that's allergic to a food item, that's a different situation because
Yeah.
that could be a life-threatening situation.
And you probably need to study a little bit before you go to somewhere that
That's
you're
right.
going to get yourself in trouble.
Because you know what they're going to be serving, so you need to either make a decision, either you're going or you're not going.
And I'm thinking that's what they do during Thanksgiving is they already played it. They already look at the deck and say, I know what I'm doing. I know I'm taking a gamble. So, and I just don't hear anything about it. But if you go out to eat, you're going to hear somebody tell everything about their special diet. Well,
That's
could you
right.
change that to this on the menu? Could you?
And see, to avoid all that, I'll make my mind up and my decision up that I'm not going to be going to that particular relative or location or eatery because I know they're going to be serving something that I cannot ingest in my system. So I don't automatically myself to not even go there. So yes.
I don't like everything at every restaurant. So I usually kind of do. I want eggs from there. They don't cook like I like it in this particular. I'm in a certain mood. So it's like we all do the same thing. We're selective about food.
Yeah.
Today we should be selective about food because of the calories, the sugars, and the harmful, effects that it's doing to our bodies.
Yeah, and with 4.5 minutes ago, let's focus on that for a few minutes before we get into fire safety and particularly food cooking safety. So we have 4 minutes remaining for this particular segment, and we don't want to waste too much time on what we're just talking about allergies and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get into it back about eating healthy, maintaining a healthy diet, and so you can prolong your life over the holiday season. And then we'll get into fire safety and particularly cooking safety. Vernon.
You want to, and I'm looking at the paragraph where I left off of, exercise comes in forms of all forms. So baking cookies, you can do calf raises, you can do simple knee bends. While you're baking the cookies, this is like how to coexist and how to integrate this exercise while you're cooking. That's interesting. I'll be back. I'm gonna go do a couple bench presses while these collards cook. That is an interesting point of view. I think it's a bunch of baloney. I don't think nobody's gonna exercise while they're cooking the turkey.
That's right, because that's not feasible. That's not a recommended thing to do.
But
never leave something on the stove cooking while you're away.
Yeah,
that's unattended cooking.
Don't even sound right, does it?
Yeah.
But they're talking about it. They're basically saying, keep that in mind while you are eating. That is not an option, ladies. Hear the tone of my voice. Let's be moderate in what we're eating and what we're doing. And if you need to check your blood sugar, if you need to check your blood pressure, if you need to go outside and take a walk, just use common sense during these food splurging days. I mean, to me, this food splurging starts at when fall comes. Everybody want comfort food to stay warm down here in the South. So it starts with Halloween, it goes on to Thanksgiving, goes on to Christmas, goes on to Black Eyed Peas for New Year's, goes on to Valentine's Day, going on to Mother's Day, Father's Day, and then grilling out, cooking. But the eating season is on, but we're not active during the winter time like we are.
And Coach Garris, you just mentioned something that's another very important safety tip. When you mentioned check your sugar, and I would advise everyone who is diabetic that has a glucose meter to check your glucose, your sugar level, quite regularly during the holidays, particularly if you're out eating and you don't know what your sugar level might be. And that goes because you would be concerned about getting behind the wheel of a car if you're driving, and you wouldn't want you to be driving if you're in an impaired state because your sugar, rather high or low, means that you're impaired, and you could be driving impaired. So definitely, by all means, take your meter with you and check your sugar as long as you're sitting at a table.
And sugar is alcohol, by the way.
That's right. Absolutely right.
It is definitely alcohol. So, we want to, there's no options here, ladies and gentlemen. Take care of your body.
Yeah.
It's the temple of God. It's the only one you're actually going to get.
And with that if that your sugar does register a high level, I recommend that you just drink a lot of water, put a lot of fluids in your body to bring your sugar level down, to lower your sugar level. So if it's high, by all means, consume a lot of water. Coach Garrison is going to take us out to the next break. Then we're going to get into fire safety and cooking fire safety for the holiday.
And drinking water is so hard to do with your belly full of food. I understand. But ladies and gentlemen, if you can't make it down in the gym, pick that water bottle up. It's going to affect your digestion a little bit. You might want to take some hot water with lemon or some tea, which helps deal with bloating and things of that nature. That's just a personal thought. Try it if you like. If you're overeating late at night, give your stomach a little bit help assisting in digesting. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be back with this Christmas dinner message, WBIS LP.
Keep it locked right here to the Glenn Johnson Show.
Hi, my name is Minister Cooper. I listen to Awesome Radio every day, 106.9. Now you have a blessed day.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Awesome Radio, 106.9 FM, WBIS LP. Christian inspiration for the family and ministry teaching for practical Christian living. Coach Garrison was giving a couple of thoughts on some safety issues, and we'd like to now moving down for our final 20 minutes on holiday safety and particularly cooking safety, if you will. Coach Garrison.
All right. So number one on my list, and we just did a show not long ago with a representative from the Greenville Fire Department. Leaving your food unattended, I believe, was the number one source of kitchen fires, which I recall the interview. That's it. Cooking is a source of a lot of our fires here.
She did say that. And I also mentioned that this is a quote from Deputy Fire Marshal Jay Morris, Pitt County EMS. What is the number one ingredient when cooking? Safety is the number one ingredient. And then Miss Jessica Blackwell responded, not only safety, but knowing how to cook.
Yeah, that is so true. Parents, if you haven't taught your children how to cook, they still won't know at 30.
Yeah.
They still won't know at 40. They're just gonna get up one day and decide they're gonna try to fry turkey. They're inspired to try and do something that they wasn't doing, and they just can't cook.
Yeah.
So if they haven't watched a bunch of YouTube videos on it, they won't understand, leaving a lot of water in a turkey and then dropping it in and not measuring the grease. But we'll have to see now. As much information has been given about frying turkeys over the last 20 years, 15 years, people should know how to fry turkeys nowadays.
And now you cannot just take a turkey, particularly if it's frozen, and drop it in some grease. Because what's going to happen is it's going to combust and it's going to blow up. It's going to expand to the point where it's just going to bust out of the pot. It's going to blow up. It's not going to blow up like a bomb and possibly set your house on fire, but it would if it expands and blows out of the pot and the fire that's cooking underneath it was to catch something on fire. Now your house is on fire, maybe. So you never want to put a frozen or cold turkey in a hot tub of grease because it could expand and blow up.
And don't play with your fire alarm if it keeps going off. Don't take the battery out. Don't do any of those things. It still should work without a battery in it. And it's just going to beep to let you know it needs a battery, because the battery is for backup. If it's networked and connected in the facility or the home that you're in, then that is something that you want to be concerned about. But don't try and mute it. if you are burning stuff in the kitchen, the fire alarm should be going off so that you won't be sleeping at night and you tone deaf to the fire system that you have. So don't just grin and bear it. Peep peep, take a fan, blow it, open the door, open the windows. You're gonna get laughed at. I responded to a kitchen alarm going off about 2 weekends ago, and I knocked on a particular door because it was my responsibility. And I said, all this smoke coming out in this hallway, what's happening? And the young lady, I said, who's the chef tonight? I knew I had the right apartment because as soon as the door opened, it was smoke on the ceiling rolling around. I said, who's the chef tonight? She says, oh, we're just cooking chicken Alfredo. How in the world do you burn that? You just got chicken breast. But some people, either they walk away or they got the temperature too hot and they're trying to cook the food in record time. So you really want to look at, I'm not saying you can't cook. Okay, let me try the food first, and then I'll tell you what I think you can make food. So, and obviously, if you're listening to me, goodness well, I'm likely not to try your food. So I'm going to assume that you can cook, especially if you invite me over. But those fire alarms should be going off on a regular. And if it goes off in the kitchen, it should go off in the bedroom too.
And there's a recommendation that you check your fire alarm batteries twice a year, unless you're using a 10-year lithium battery. Install smoke alarms on every level of your home, including the basement. Did you hear that, ladies and gentlemen? Install a smoke alarm on every level of your house, including the basement, and your batteries should be checked at least twice a year, unless you are using a 10-year lithium battery, because their recommendations is your smoke alarm is supposed to have a lifespan of 10 years. After that, it should be replaced. Coach Garrison, 4 minutes.
Yep. So when it comes to safety, we also, I got to say this, stop leaving your food unattended.
Yeah, by all means.
Just don't. Just don't. Now, unattended cooking happens in a couple of safe ways. Now I gotta eat crow a little bit. Crock pots. Putting food in the oven. I believe it might be permissible that you can sit there, but turn the timer on the oven so that it can go off, in an hour. If you're baking something for an hour, if you're baking something for an hour, there's probably a lower temperature. If you're baking something 40 minutes, I think chicken bakes for 40 minutes at 400 or something like that, 375. This isn't me talking like I know how to cook. But I believe you can go sit in the living room and watch. But if you're going to go sit in the living room and watch a football game and you got some in the oven, just think if you fell asleep. Would there a timer on the stove wake you up? And we're talking about fires that happen here in Pitt County because of unattended cooking. What in the Scooby-Doo is going on? How are you leaving and how are people leaving it unattended? I can only imagine and be hypothetical about it. And I could just say, don't do it if you're not good at it. Now, the microwave is another thing because the microwave just going to be there and burn your stuff up and cut off. That's what the microwave doing. You're going to be smelling it and it's going to be all shriveled up. So you can overcook something in the microwave, but if you overcook the popcorn, you're going to smell that for days. So, but the crock pot, that was one of the things I said. Yes. I would have to look at data to see if crock pots catch on fire. I don't think they do. I think you can, I can't say it on the air. I'm not going to give you permission to leave the crock pot on and drive to work and come back home tonight and eat something savory. I can't do it. So if fires come from unattended cooking, until you know data, don't even leave your crock pot. Somebody needs to be in the house. I know something about fire. I was burning a fire in a fire pit almost a year ago. And I thought it was out. It was smothering. I come back from the grocery store. Guess what? The whole backyard is starting to burn, and it's starting to burn right over to the neighbor's house. So you're talking to and you're listening to a firebug. Do the right thing. Textbooks say do not leave anything that's heated. Don't leave nothing unattended.
That's right. And I'm looking for my document. We have 1 minute to go for this particular segment, but I'm going to ask Coach Garrison. We'll go out to the break when we come back. If we do a little bit on smoke alarm for the hearing impaired and 911 system, because even if you have a cell phone that's deactivated, it's still supposed to allow you to dial 911. From any phone that's not active or activated, you're supposed to still have the way it means to dial 911. So we'll get into that aspect. We come back from the break. Coach Garrison, 40 seconds.
Yeah, and you go to a person that's hearing impaired, you go to their doorbell and you ring their doorbell. How do they know you're at the door? That should be a trivial question. You get 1 million bonus points if you could tell me, how does a hearing impaired person know that you are at their door? I'll tell y'all when we come back after the break, because that might give you a reason to stay tuned to the show. And then you might want to see if I made up something or I actually know. Or you probably know. And you're just going to stick and stay with us. This is WBISLP. This is our holiday show, Glenn Johnson's show, talking about eating and food safety. We'll be right back after these wonderful messages.
Many wonderful lessons can be learned by visiting Mount St. Helens in Washington State. To find out more, visit us at creationmoments.com or call 1-800-42-BIBLE.
My name is Jayla, and you're the seed to my papa, Glenn Johnson, on the radio.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Awesome Radio, 106.9 FM, WBISLP. I'm joined today by Coach Vernon Garrison, and we're talking holiday safety, and we're wrapping it down to our final 10 minutes, and we're going to shed a little more light on cooking safety and smoke alarm for the hearing impaired. Then we'll get into the 911 system, and are you still able to dial 911 from a cell phone that has been deactivated? Yes, you can. Then we'll get to our final document, which is all the non-emergency numbers in Pitt County. That would be Ayden, Grifton, Greenville, Winterville, Bethel, so on and so forth. So we're wrapping up with the non-emergency numbers, should anybody need those numbers to contact their local emergency services. Coach Garrison.
There is the hearing impaired have a light that blinks. They have certain things that respond with light, and there are certain things that respond that vibrate, so they can actually feel, notifications or alerts. Similar to what you can do with your cell phone, you do the same thing. You'll set the vibration, and you'll also set a ringtone. And some cell phones still have their flashlight blinks when it rings. So there you go. With some universal things that cross over between hearing impaired. We got voice activation now. Everybody uses that. You may have home automation where you can walk in and say, Google, turn on the living room light. Alexa, dim the lights. So, virtually technology, we share that. When it comes to fire alarms, I'm sure that those fire alarms vibrate, ring, and flash lights. Most fire alarm systems in commercial facilities also have lights because they direct people how to get out. So there you have it with some of those safety things there. Being safe, I'm going to go back to the food for 2 seconds. Being safe is not eating the whole chocolate pie. If nobody's there and you got the pie there and you've already given all your leftovers away, I'm going to say something and you might get mad. You can think about putting it in the freezer, or you can say, I have eaten enough, and throw it away.
Yeah, on the
don't give it to somebody else either. Yeah, you can try this food right here. You already know it done set out half the day. Now you're trying to give it to somebody.
And on the hearing impaired, I'd just like to mention one other thing about that. There's a device called assistive listening device. And I read the document courtesy of the North Carolina Division of Social Services, or Services rather, North Carolina Division of Services for the Deaf and the Hard of Hearing. The ALD is a device that helps overcome background noise in many situations. It utilizes some type of microphone for the system, and it eliminates minimizes a lot of background noise from your television and different things, so on and so forth. So that's just another device for the hearing impaired, in addition to the smoke alarm devices that might be available. When it comes to the smoke alarms for the hearing impaired, I would ask everybody to contact your local fire agency, fire department, to see if they still are readily available for free of charge here in Pitt County. And Coach Garrison is going to give out those non-emergency numbers before the broadcast ends today. Coach.
Yeah, I'm looking for the numbers right now. I didn't find that sheet.
All right, while he looks for the numbers, I want to just go back and reiterate what is the number one ingredient for cooking during the holidays. Would somebody like to get into that question by calling 252-756-2008? Also, should you like to obtain any of the documents that we have before us, please don't hesitate to email me at glennjohnsonshow@gmail.com. That's Glenn with 2 N's, johnsonshow@gmail.com. And I think Coach Garrison is going to have that document momentarily. One of the other things I wanted to mention was that if you do call 911 from a cell phone, my recommendation is the first thing you give out is your location, because calling from a cell phone, the call gets routed to a tower, another tower, and another tower before they might could actually know what area that you're in. They might not know your specific location, but at least they know the area in. Coach Garrison?
If you're going to call one of these numbers, if you do, then probably after hours it's going to switch over to 911. But anyways, Greenville Police Department non-emergency contact 252-329-4315, 252-329-4315. Pitt County Sheriff's Office non-emergency number 252-902-2800, 252-902-2800. The Winterville Police Department non-emergency number 252-756-1055, 1105. 252-756-1105. The Ayden Police Department non-emergency number is 252-481-5844. It's 252-481-5844. The Grifton Police Department non-emergency contact number is 252-524-4161. 252-524-4164.
And as I mentioned, should you like to avail yourself to that document, please don't hesitate to email me. I would be more than happy to forward it to you. Glenn Johnson Show at gmail.com. That's GLENN Johnson, JOHNSON Show, SHOW at gmail.com. Once again, Glenn Johnson Show at gmail.com. And as I mentioned, if you have a cell phone that's deactivated, you're still supposed to have the capability of dialing 911. And how do you deactivate a cell phone? And anyway, it's essential that you remove the battery. Battery removal is key. After removing the battery from your phone, you will make it completely deactivated and safe for children to play with. So sometimes people deactivate a phone, give it to their child. Their child is playing with it, accidentally dial 911, not thinking that it's going to work. But it does work if the battery's in there. The phone might be deactivated, but you still can utilize 911. We have 2 minutes remaining for today's broadcast. Coach Garrison.
Well, I want to say I'm wishing everyone a Merry Christmas coming up. And I hope you plan something fun with your family. And I hope you plan a particular outing to complement what you're doing. Because I ain't playing about this food. We're just too unhealthy as a nation. And then as a specific culture, you know, American Africans, that diabetes creeped back up on us, that high blood pressure. Our mortality rate a couple of years ago had gone down or to the positive. Now it's creeping back up, you know, with COVID-19 that just came through. We want to be here for our grandchildren. And if you're having issues right now, we'll pray for you and with you. But don't just give up and go around like a garbage disposal eating everything.
And 2 things I want to mention before the broadcast ends. I know we've been stricken with social distancing and people haven't seen each other. But for this holiday, Christmas time, you go to your family or friends. Instead of taking a gift, you be the gift. Say, wait, where's my gift? I am the gift. Amen. Also, right, Coach Garrison. Also, let's stop using the phrase Xmas. By using Xmas, you're crossing out to see in Christ Jesus. Christmas is Christmas, that's what it means. It's a mass to celebrate the birth of Jesus Christ. So think about Christmas as the mass to celebrate the birth of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Coach Garrison will end today's broadcast.
I don't know anybody that say Happy Xmas either. Okay, but I know some people who use it in a commercial setting, but I don't know nothing about it. We love you guys. Thank you for joining us. Buy somebody an exercise bike. That's what you do. That might be a gag gift because they probably maybe won't use it. All right, guys. Merry Christmas.
We'll see
WBIS LP 106.9.
This is The Man in the Mirror with National Men's Ministry leaders Patrick Morley